Welcome back to Auto Vista, where every machine has a story. And today, we're diving into a story that feels like a blast from the past, but with a twist. Feast your eyes on the 1987 Morris Minor. Yeah, you heard that right. Not 1957, not 1967, but a brand new 1987 model that reimagines a British icon for a new generation. Now, for those of you already raising an eyebrow, yes, the original Morris Minor ended its production run back in 1971. But in an alternate automotive universe, where heritage trumps horsepower and charm beats out tech specs, the Minor made a surprise comeback. And we're lucky enough to get our hands on it. So what happens when you try to modernize one of the most beloved small cars Britain ever built? Well, you get something like this. The 1987 Morris Minor isn't about speed or performance or cutting-edge technology. It's about nostalgia, personality, and a driving experience that's all soul. Let's talk about the design first, because this is where the car truly wears its history on its sleeve. From a distance, it looks like someone just kept making the classic Minor through the decades. Those rounded fenders, that distinctive split front grille, and of course, the gentle curves that made it look more like a cartoon character than a car. But get a little closer, and you start to see the 80s creeping in. The chrome is a little more polished. The lines are slightly tighter. The headlights are subtly squared off, and there's just the faintest hint of plastic trim along the bottom edges. It's like your granddad got a perm and put on a members-only jacket. The car's still vintage, still sweet, but with a bit of 1980s flair. Under the hood, things are modest, let's say. You're looking at a 1.3-liter inline-4 engine, putting out about 60 horsepower. Not exactly setting the tarmac on fire, but that's never been the Minor's mission. What you do get is smooth delivery, easy maintenance, and a driving experience that's more about connection than domination. Pop the bonnet, and it's refreshingly simple under there. No computer modules, no messy plastics, just good old-fashioned mechanical components you can actually see and touch. Tinkerers, DIYers, and weekend mechanics, this one's for you. The gearbox is a 4-speed manual, no automatic option here. The clutch is light, the shifts are soft but satisfying, and if you've never driven stick before, the Minor makes for a surprisingly friendly introduction. It almost feels like it's rooting for you to get it right. Now, the suspension, well, let's be honest. It's bouncy. Leaf springs in the back, torsion bars in the front. You're going to feel every bump and pothole, but somehow, that adds to the charm. You feel like you're part of the road, not just gliding above it. It's not comfort in the modern sense, but it is connection. Let's talk about the interior. Step inside, and you're instantly in another era. Not just because of the design, but because of the smell, real leather, real wood trim, and the faint whiff of oil and metal. The dashboard is a minimalist's dream. You've got your speedometer dead center, some toggle switches, and not much else. No infotainment system, no air conditioning, not even a radio by default. Just you, the engine, and the open road. But there are a few updates to remind you this is the 80s version. The seats are slightly more contoured. There's now a rear defroster, halogen headlights, and lo and behold, seat belts in the back. Welcome to the modern world. Storage space. It's actually not bad. The trunk, or boot, if we're staying British, is roomy enough for a couple of suitcases or a week's worth of groceries. And with the split folding rear seats, you can even squeeze in a bike if you're determined enough. On the road, the Minor is not fast, it's not agile, but it is fun. You find yourself smiling more than you expected to. People wave, kids point, strangers stop and ask about it at gas stations. It's the kind of car that makes you part of a community the moment you sit behind the wheel. Now, is this car practical in 1987 terms? That depends on how you define practical. Fuel economy is solid, you're looking at around 40 miles per gallon, give or take. It'll chug along happily at 60 or 65 on the highway, though pushing it beyond that gets a little noisy. And while it's never going to win a crash test, it's got solid bones and a charm that might just help you avoid accidents in the first place, because everyone sees you coming. And speaking of charm, let's not forget one thing, this car was never supposed to come back. It's a curiosity, a tribute, a love letter to a simpler era. The very fact that it exists in 1987 feels like a defiant stand against modernity. It's a car for people who want to drive something with soul, not silicon. Is it for everyone? Definitely not. If you want air conditioning, power steering, or cruise control, you're going to be disappointed. But if you want personality, history, and that warm fuzzy feeling every time you start the engine, the 1987 Morris Minor delivers in spades. And here's the kicker, it's surprisingly affordable. In an era where hot hatches and turbocharged sedans are stealing the spotlight, the Minor slips in under the radar. It's not trying to compete. It's offering an alternative, a gentle reminder that driving doesn't always have to be about power and speed. Sometimes, it's just about the drive. So, would I recommend it? Honestly, yeah. Not as your only car. Not for long commutes or high-speed escapades. But as a second car, a weekend cruiser, a piece of rolling history. Absolutely. There's something magical about sitting behind that wheel, shifting through the gears, hearing the gentle hum of that little engine, and feeling like you're part of something older, something purer. It's not just a car. It's a conversation starter, a bridge across generations, a living, breathing piece of design that refuses to be forgotten. That's all for today on Auto Vista. If you enjoyed this dive into the alternate timeline of the 1987 Morris Minor, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and drop a comment down below. What car from the past do you think deserves a modern revival? Until next time, keep your hands on the wheel, your heart in the drive, and your eyes on the Vista.